Hi everyone. You can hear me squeaking in my chair, which is fun. But today, I'm trying to make a new VTuber, I guess. I have a style in mind, it's just I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. So I've decided to go back on my VRoidStudio. You can see my current one, which is this one. I don't know if you can't see my mouse, which is really annoying. There it is. This is my current one that I sometimes use. And these are my testing ones. I did this one literally today, but it's just a test for now. I'm just gonna get my drawing tablet plugged in, and hopefully I don't knock my headphones out. So if you hear a sound, it is my laptop connecting with my tablet. Hi, Tom! You can see all the testing avatars I've done. I've been trying to learn this software. And I also have the same tablet from college. It somehow still survived all this time. Ooh. I'm trying not to lean it on the keyboard too much. My desk space is not the greatest. I mean, my boyfriend has one with a screen, but I kind of broke it a little bit. But I do like this one. But I'm gonna start off with a new model, because then I can show off the basics and stuff. So I'm gonna create a mask character, because it would then fit me at least. I could kind of do this with my VTuber model instead of my me, but I feel like this is better. Right, I'm gonna put this on my lap because it's easier. So I need to open my driver settings because that's annoying. Right. Don't set full screen. That's gonna go over the whole area. So there we go. And the tablet to that. The keybinds always change, which is annoying. I knew I'd have to do some troubleshooting on stream, which all good, all good. So we're gonna have that is to go to increase the brush size. So on my screen, I'll have like little icons at the bottom to show what my tablet is doing, but it won't show up on stream, I don't think. So I'm just setting up my keybinds for this again, because I unplugged my tablet in between doing this, so it deleted all my settings. Decrease brush size. There we go. So then if oh, that's opening the settings again. Okay. So this is a default model. This is what I saw when I first created my other VTuber model. It's pretty basic. But with what I'm doing, like creating a Miraculous suit, I have to remove all the clothes. Yeah, it's cool. I'm good background noise. I do have a thing in the chat that I can say That's like, if your background noise, it's still fine. I've been setting up stuff as well, just before stream as well, just to make sure it all works. So I'm gonna try and make it look a little bit like me, but also like one of my old designs. So I have got my iPad on hand with old designs. Just how I got the mouse one earlier. I was using some of my old college designs, but I adapted it into a female suit instead of a male suit, because all of mine are male. So I'm going to see which one of these suits would work for me. I'm thinking no, that's asymmetrical for a minute. I'm going to start with a symmetrical suit because I like using the mirror tool when I'm painting. So I'm going to see what one has a good mirror pattern on it. It might not even be this one. It might just be... I could do a very old one. Because I was incredibly inspired by multi-mouse at one point. And I just made my suit multi-mouse but green. So I'm going to use that as a reference. And again, because I'm using window capture, nobody can see this because it's on my iPad. So I've got to find a spot to put that in. Because I have limited desk space. Right, move that out the way. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to quickly... he's going to lose his eyebrows, so don't be alarmed. He's going to have to lose his eyebrows and also his eyelids. Wherever the eyelids are, there. So he's got a pretty blank looking face, but that's what we need right now. Because then I can add the face paint on in a minute. Anyone who, I guess, went to uni with me knows that I don't like UV unwrapping. And if anyone has seen bad UV unwrapping, this is going to make your head hurt because it is really bad. In terms of what I'm familiar with, I can give a brief overview of what it'll look like. So this is the head. It looks really weird to me. Because it's like, you've got the face, and like, whatever you do, it will show up on the head. Yeah. If I put mirror on, the ears are here. And that, I think, is the back of the ear. Yeah, it's the back of the ear. And so, like, whatever you do with, like, manipulating the face, or like the ears, if you manipulate the ears, the UV will stay the same. So, like, if I gave him elf ears, it wouldn't change much about it, which I think is really annoying. So I go down. There's no ear settings in the other one, so I have to go all the way down here. And so, like, I can give him rounder ears. I can make his ears a bit more prominent so they stick out, which looks really funny. I'm going to undo that. Ear stretch is where the elf ears come into play. So if I wanted to make my character look like a fantasy character, I can do that. I can also move the ears, like the tip of the ears, so I can make like a fae, or like I can really stretch the ears out, or I can make them like bigger or smaller. I'm gonna kind of make it look, or you can just remove them, which don't tend to work when it comes to ear stretch. So you can remove them, which look really funny. because this itself is a texture that you can edit. I don't do anything with the skin. I find it really difficult to work with, so I just keep the skin as it is and just work with it. So I'm going to put his ears back a bit and then stretch them out. Give him a bit more elf look. Even though the character that I've got on my iPad screen doesn't have elf ears, he just has regular human ears. I don't care really. It's my work, I can edit it how I want. So I think that looks pretty good so far, even though I've done pretty much nothing. But I can give him less of a feminine face and it goes straight to, like, a masculine face and it goes straight to feminine, which I think looks really weird. Like, mask head just makes his forehead go further down. Some of these settings are really funny. I need to see. Right, so this is when I realized that my eye color was different. Because I always thought my eyes were blue. They're not. So I'm going to edit it to make it look like me, maybe a little bit more. But also fit. Oh, I don't like those eyes. Fit me now, but with a VTuber twist. Oh, that just makes him look like he's got his eyes up in his head. I think we might just keep those and then just change the iris. Ooh. Yeah, that one looks kind of nice. And then when I do this, I tend to have a reference color, but considering I don't, I'm just going to do it from picking my eye color. So I'm going to go with this dark green. It might contrast really poorly with the green I'm about to use for the suit, but I can always change it later on. Highlights, they are very, they can be very prominent, like this one. And I don't really want it to be so prominent, so I'm going to try and find one that's like a bit easier on the eye. There was one I used, it's that one, yeah, this one's better. It's got that cartoony style that I like, and the sclera doesn't really look that different, so I'm going to keep it as this. Of course, no eyebrows or eyelids. I don't have actually no, I kind of do in that image. I do have eyeliner. So I'm going to put it just like that. You can, and it looks funny, you can just remove it. Oh, his eyelids have returned. Why have his eyelids come back? There we go. You can just stare into your soul like that, which I think is even worse. I will paint on, I think, like extra eyelashes, so like having this base is fine. But I'm going to make it this one because it's not as curved. I'm also going to darken it to match the suit. Eyelashes, they don't really do much for what I want, so I'm not really going to add them. Yeah, if I was doing something like Marinette, like if I was making a VTuber of her, then I would do the eyeliner and then the eyelashes. But I'm not doing that. Also, to make it look more like me, I'm going to flatten his nose out. That's not going to do anything. His nose is pretty much flat already. So I'm also going to just choose a different nose bit, so then like you see the shading more, but I don't know which one I want. That one's pretty cool because Because when I do the face paint, I'll end up painting over that anyway. So I think that looks pretty alright so far. The nose size scale is actually just moving it up and down, which I find quite weird. If I give him more of a masculine nose but then move it up, it kind of then fits my face a bit more. I'm also doing this without a reference of my own face because I kind of know my proportions now as I've sort of gotten older and seeing me over the different periods. But if I wanted to, I could just get an old ID card because I haven't really changed much. So I'm just going to keep the mouth inside. I can get him to like scream. So then you can see sort of inside the mouth. But considering the picture that I've got doesn't have much of a reference for his mouth, I don't really have much of a reference anyway. So next up is lips. I don't really need it, but I'm gonna give him lips. Because if he doesn't, it's like, you look at him from a distance, you're like, where's his mouth? It's gone. It's not there. So, like, if I do that, and you look at it from a distance, it just looks like a face with eyes. You can't even see the nose that well, but it is there. So if I give him the lips, then they're there. You can then see them. Cheeks, I'm gonna give myself freckles there at the bottom. Kind of? I can't see them. They were here, unless it's in the face paint. I think it's in the face paint. So I'm not gonna give him... Do I give him blush? Sure, I'll give him blush. Right, with skin, this determines like how the ears will look and how the shading affects it, in a way. So it's like, this usually would just affect the eyes. I don't know if I paint over that. I apologize for the UV again, because I'm going to go into the face paint now. So you can directly paint on the face and it will show up on the UV, or you can paint on the UV and it will show up on the face. So I'm going to start on the UV and then work my way up to going onto the actual face, so then I can like fine tune it. And I hope my tablet doesn't disconnect because I'm sat cross-legged on my chair. So I'm going to start here maybe? Yeah. I'm going to go with a thinner pen. So I've got my keybinds working now, finally. So I go with a thinner pen. A space on my tablet there. And I just go around. I'm going to actually do it on the face, I think, because then I can get the right angle for it. So you can like angle the head sort of wherever you want it, and then just, and then you can just paint as you go. Mine's a bit laggy, I don't know why. It might be the software, it might be the pen. It might even just be my tablet being annoying. It's probably the last one. But it's like, it doesn't matter if you don't line it up, I can always then go back onto the UV, switch to the eraser tool, which is the top one. No, it's this one. The second one down is my eraser tool. And I just rub it out. And then I'm going to have to twist myself because I can't rotate. And then this hopefully... Okay, I need to switch the thing on my pen to B and E, and not just pen and eraser, because it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to also follow the contour line of the UV shell, because then that also kind of gives me a rough guide of where the eyes are, so that's actually quite useful for me to remember. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to follow this upper one. Go back to 5 point. So if we go, I'm going to go another angle this way. Nope. I have to do it the other way. There we go. This might be the most accurate line, because I am doing this just on a whim. There we go. And then if I just rub that out to about there, follow the contour until there. I'm also doing this with like very limited light as well, so I cannot see my tablet at all. I can just see the blue light when it recognizes that the pen's nearby. Maybe I should have more light. Thank you. I gotta connect. Ooh. That bit on the face is looking a bit weird. Where's that on there? Oh, it's there. So if I just redo this bit. I just did what I did again. There we go. So if I zoom out a bit, it looks a bit better than I thought it would, to be fair. So it's like I end up just using this as a reference anyway. And I'm just gonna use the contours again to go under the eyes. And then go every time I'm looking down at my tablet to press the undo button. Because I know it's there, it's just I keep forgetting what button it's on. And then and definitely having the keybinds mapped makes it so much easier. So also when it comes to the nose, you can tell it's the nose because of how clumped the area is, which not my favourite. So if I did that, that's like on the tip of his nose almost. That's not where I want the tip of the mask to be. I want that to be just one up from that. So I'm gonna maybe do it like that. That looks a bit like glasses. I'm gonna widen that out. Okay, so that I think looks pretty good. And then I've got to somehow connect that to the other side, hopefully in one go. If not, I can then just curve it over. Yeah, I'm going to do it multiple lines, which is fine. Okay. So there's a rough mask. I'm going to redo this middle bit because it doesn't look like what I've got on my iPad. It goes a bit further down, so I'm just going to just redo that here. So I'd say it goes to about there. So I'm going to do it on the other side because I can actually get up there. So it's going to go up like... I'm going to go in the middle of this UV shell. Just rubbing out where I need to be in a minute, so I can get a smooth line. I think that's a bit too much now. So I'm going to go back up again. A lot of trial and error with this. But I've definitely practiced a lot more with this since making that first VTuber. I think 'cause I just want to learn how this works. So having it and seeing how it works is actually kind of fun. But like this bit is actually the easier bit when it comes to this, because it's like getting the hair done. I actually don't like doing the hair. I can do it, it's just, it's not fun. Because at the end, this for me is just like Photoshop or Clip Studio. Because I'm just painting on things. But when I'm on something like, I don't know, I think it was like Substance Painter and you had to paint over the UV. I just couldn't do it. I'm also just using something, I found a TV remote, so I'm using that as a ruler so that I can hopefully line it up to where I need it to be. I think I can, yeah, I can just move that across. Because I can't actually see where the pen is until I've placed it down. It's about there. Okay, that's at an angle. Great. I do have a ruler somewhere in this room, but I just don't know where it is. That's more straight. And I can always tidy that up in a minute. So it's like the suit that I did back in college is pretty much just multi-mouse, but green. Except it doesn't have the parts down the side, but I can always just get a picture of multi-mouse's suit and fix that in a second. So just gonna do some quick tidying up on this line here. And so from a distance, it should translate that there is just a line through there. I did also, these are for people that know me, I have a small card game from when I was at college. Oh, there goes my tablet. And I still have them. And so I'm going to use them as well as reference. So like I have some Miraculous characters. I also have multi-mouse, so I can use that as a reference too. I love the feel of these cards. They feel so good. Ooh, I'm just throwing my tablet now. Oh, and we're back on the tablet. Did it delete all my settings? Because I hope it didn't. Come on. Yes. Okay, so when it unplugged itself, it's set, because I've got a dual monitor thing right now. I've just got an old TV plugged in as my second screen. It's put it as both screens. So now I have to sort that out to go back onto just my laptop screen. Right. I have to sit normally now, which feels weird. So multi-mouse has this kind of mask, but she also has down here, it's like connects downwards like that, but it connects up to the side of the mask. Like that, and then it sort of juts inwards a bit. And it doesn't matter if it's overlapping in a minute, and it goes down like that, and then it connects back up in sort of a bit like that. Then I can just sort of get in there, and redo this bit so it's a bit more pointy. How does that look on the actual model? It looks really weird. I've gone out a bit too far. So I think if I flatten the edge of the mask, it should actually work better. I should have really done this on a new layer, because then I could have edited over it. That's what I'll do. I'll just undo all this, make a new layer for this, and then just start working on it. So I'll start with the connection down here, because I can always add to it. And then this bit's the longest because it comes down like that. It doesn't really curve like that. It sort of comes to a point. I also know that not a lot of people are fond of Multimouse's design, because it is quite basic, but I think that's why I loved it. Because it had that sort of element to it, where it's like, we know that it's not Ladybug, but we know it's still Marinette. But it did feel more authentic to her than the Ladybug suit. And I think that's why I loved it so much. That and the transformation that she had with it. And that she became the first ever character in Miraculous history to merge. Can I not merge these two layers? Oh, never mind. So I'm just gonna have to edit the layer underneath, which is fine. Because it kind of looks a bit weird now, but I'll just manipulate that in a minute. Cut it off there, and then go back to this, and we'll just pull this back a bit. So if anyone wants a reference of how I'm looking right now, I've got an iPad to my left, I've got my little multi-mouse card on my laptop with the open box of them next to me. There is a card missing actually from my little box of cards, and I don't know where it's gone. And it happens to be one of my favourite cards too. Because I had a hero card that was it was one of my favourites. It was a frog hero, which then inspired my Miraculous. I have every card but that one. Like, I have my unicorn one. I have that's pretty much it, really. I have some of the villains too, but it's somewhere. He shall be found. He is lost, he shall be found. That pen is massive. Okay. So if I just... Okay, that's better. Putting it over... I'm going to do it on this side. Putting it over on this contour instead. Makes it look so much better. I love that I'm still on the line art part of it, and I haven't even got to the colouring. Because this will become more apparent when I'm doing the actual suit. Because, like, luckily I'm not just painting on my body. I will be using a leather suit, which then just allows me to paint on that, and I can then manipulate it to fit my body more, which I think makes it look a little bit better. Okay. So I think that's good kind of for a mock-up. I did also have mock-ups for like, these are like my old Miraculouses, where I had my own Ladybug Miraculous that had a different power. And I did me and my friends. I drew them in the Miraculous style, or with their Miraculous on, and then did little mock-ups with me and them with each other's Miraculous on, which I loved. But then as I went on, I decided to go into like, what if we merged them like Marinette? And so I could actually do that. But I don't know if I want to do it with the Ladybug one, because it's literal spots. I don't know how that would translate well in this software. But if we have time later on, I can do that. Because I mean, I've only been streaming for about 40 minutes, so it's like, I could do that if I had the time. So I'm just going to do some quick tidying up on the face, because that looks a bit weird. It's because I also tried doing, I made it look like a gacha game, honestly. Like, I gave them all like 5 stars. And then their own name. I was really into this stuff back in, like, this is like the start of uni that I was doing this. It's just like, I was really into this. Right, also, now we are going to be, it's a swift, sudden change. Now that we've got this bit done, we're going to go into the colouring stage. And this is where I need to do, I'm going to do Adobe Color, so you won't see this, but I'm going to upload a picture of my character to, unless I don't want to do that version of it, because that green is very bright. Oh, but I love it. I'm going to keep it. Right. Share as a JPEG to my Google Drive so that I can access it on my computer. Luckily, none of you can see anything, so it's just me talking to myself. Well, my character stares you blankly in the face, which I think is quite funny, actually. You have me looking off to the side, and then you've got my VTuber staring you in the face. Maybe this is actually on my drive. I don't know. I'm gonna make a new folder for it anyway. Is it my... I have a game art folder that just says actual work on it. Okay, I'll put it in this folder, because it's named Miraculous, so it makes sense. Okay, we're up. Now I've got to go find this folder on my actual drive. Because I can keep the splash art up. Because I know once I'm done and I make the thumbnail, I'm probably going to do a splash art thumbnail, because I think that'll look really cool. because then I can do that for like, I don't know, if I do multiple tonight, I can do that. Right, so let's copy this image. Oh, I need to open it first. And can I copy this image? No, I have to download it. Okay, so I've downloaded it. Now I can use Adobe Color to color pick from this image. The good thing about this is, even though I'm not sponsored by them, and I probably won't be, I use Opera GX because it allows me to copy paste things from my clipboard into things, and I love it. That is not a, oh, that's a, I did a test thing for this green background so that if I did do window share, it wouldn't show my taskbar. And so that's the last thing I have as a screenshot. I guess I could put the yellow. Do the yellow for the hair. I need the green. That is a very vibrant green. Okay, so this is the... That's not it. It's got a hashtag on it, so it's probably not going to copy it. That's how I'll do it. I'll do it like that. This is how vibrant the green is. And I'm going to show you it now. I'm going to put the pen up to like, I don't know, 25. This is how vibrant, that's still a rubber. This is how vibrant the green is. This is going to be... It doesn't look that vibrant on my iPad, but then I put it on my computer and it looks different. That's not color picking from the mask, that's probably why. Right, we'll try this again. Okay, it's slightly more vibrant. I don't know if it goes well with the eyes, but I can edit that later. I did feel like that could be the case. I'm going to move this down to the bottom. I'm also going to lock these two. Let me just double check that I'm not... Okay. I'm on the wrong layer. So this is... Okay, that's that. So that needs to go up, and this one's at the bottom. So I'm going to rename this layer so that I know it's this one. It's just green. So anything I work in green, I'll put it in that. And I'm going to do the same with the different colors of grey. I've got two tones of grey. I've got like a really dark grey and then a really light grey, which is heavily inspired by Multi-Mouse. And I'm holding up the card like anyone can see it, and they cannot see it. If I had a photo of the card, I could put it up on screen, but I don't. I don't even have access to the drawings because college still has them, which I find really saddening. But they have access to it all, and I have some of the stuff from doing it still. Like if I went on my old laptop, I'd still have all the sort of design work that I did, because I did it all on there. So it's like, college doesn't have everything, but they have most of it. So there's... I'm going to zoom in a bit more, because I know I've probably missed spots. And a nice vibrant green along the underside of my eyes. I've missed spots again. Oh, and I've got to edit from the side of the eye as well. I'm going to erase this bit and then add to the end. Oh, there's a bit down there. Like, it doesn't always matter if you miss areas, because it's not going to be big enough to be seen, but I like to cover my tracks. So the next bit, it's light grey. On Multimouse's suit, it looked kind of like a purple, like a pinkish grey. And so I think I might just do that with green, but then this is the level of grey that I have to work with. So if I move this down twice and then rename it to light grey, this is the level of grey I have to work with. And I can't see it very well on the UV. I could also turn the grid off, which looks really weird. Like, I like to know where I'm painting, but it's nice that they have that as a toggle. So we're just gonna paint this in. Just making sure to cover all the gaps. And if I go out the guidelines, it doesn't matter, because I can just edit that in a minute. This is also, I just realised, the first time I've ever drawn on stream, or done anything art related on stream. And that has just shown me that I've missed a bit of erasing. So it might be layer 1, it might not be. No, it's default design, obviously. There we go. So if I wanted to check for any missed spots, I have to now go across the actual model and not the other bit. But I'm also going to make sure that it looks like it's not just got my eyes stuck in a green and grey area. So I'm going to go onto a new layer again. This one's above everything, but I'm going to make sure that I'm not on an eraser again, that I'm just following the guidelines of my eyes. Just so that there is some outline to know that my eyes are supposed to be there, and not just there. Plus I think when I close my eye, like when I get him to close his eyes, it should be alright. Despite the fact that I probably won't see it, because of course my eyes will be shut if I end up using this model. Well then I know that it's still there. So I'm just going to follow I'm going to say this is the waterline of the eye. Just going to follow that guideline. But if I wanted to go, I can go back into some old uni struggles I had when it came to UV maps and stuff like that. When I got into retopology, that was one of the hardest things for me, because I was watching people around me do it, and I was like, how does this work? Like, it was interesting to learn, but I could never get it to work for me. But I also didn't want to deal with all the polygons. So I knew it was essential, it's just not something I would want to do if I ever modelled or anything else. Okay, so we have this now. The mask is coming along quite well, but now we're going to have to add some shading, because this is just flat on his face and there's no proper shading other than just doing... I'm going to put on overlay for now and go for just like... If I do for like a green, it'll just go over it. So I'm going to go in a red so I know what I'm doing. I want to try and... I can actually go into a darken because that might be easier. I'm going to try and follow the nose line a bit. Just so that it looks... I mean, it's following the nose a bit more than I thought it would, which is alright. And then I'm just going to taper it up to there. I'm going to use a thinner brush for this. I'm going to use the 8. Go back up the same lines, just... Ooh. Because then I can just blur it with this. If I just blur it just a little bit, it does show up more, but that's alright. I don't know if I want to blur it all, because if I'm just using darken, I can just put it on overlay. Put the layer opacity. No, I'm going to have it on like multiply. Well, less pen pressure. But then I'm gonna do it with like a darker color anyway, like a blue. Or like an orange. But like from a distance, that looks really weird and silly, so I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna delete this layer and then restart. Because I don't know where the other stuff has gone. So I'm gonna go in with like an orange. So if I go into the skin, actually, it will give me the colors that I need. So this is the skin layer. So if I go for the dark color, which is this hex color, I then go back into the face paint and onto layer 3, I can then just copy paste this color and then just paint it in. So I'm just gonna probably just go up to the end anyway, but then color it. It's like I'm just giving myself a contour. But then I hope it looks alright. This looks really weird. Right. If I darken it, it should look alright. So if I just do that. Okay, I'm gonna be smoothing it out in a second, but this looks so weird. Well, if I just keep it as it is and just darken it. Multiply is actually giving me more areas to cover. That's actually really useful. I don't know if you can't see where my mouse, like my pen is like tapping, because I'll get like a circle appear on the screen. Right, I think that actually looks alright. I just need to change the, ooh, not that one. Linear burn might work. And then I just blur it out on the edges and then hopefully it works. I'm not one for shading. I don't really like shading that much. But knowing that I have to do it for this, otherwise it just doesn't look right. And if I do that and then still lower the opacity, or make it bigger, just for now, so then I can... if I do... Overlay still doesn't work, I might have to use multiply. Yeah, multiply works. But it does look like it's part of my skin, and I think that's kind of funny. But it works, and I like that. I'm also going to do some under eye as well. I need to make sure that it's visible. So I do some under eye. Make it look like I've got dark circles. What is the blur keybind for this? Oh, what different view? Oh, okay. That makes his feet look huge. That's a shot. So 1 is face on, 2 is like looking up a little bit, 3 is the side, 4 is just another side view. Oh, so that turns your character. And that straightens them on. This turns them up. Okay, I'm guessing that's perspective and orthographic. Toggle, that's for... Oh, that's why his feet look massive. This looks so weird. Why are his feet so big when I do that? I don't know. We'll get to that in a minute. So blur doesn't have a keybind, which interesting. So we'll just blur out the under eye and then see how that looks when we've darkened it. I'm definitely going to sort of blend this bit out a bit more so it's not as visible. I think that looks alright. It may need to be a different color though. Unless I just lower the opacity even more. Okay, so I can say that for a minute is the mask done. And now I'm going to have to work on the suit, which is the other fun thing. So if we come out, I'll save it as face paint with a star next to it. And so this face paint will only look right on him. If I try and go with like Volpina that I made, it will fit his face, but it doesn't look right. Or like another mask that I tried, which is just a work in progress. Looks alright, but it doesn't really fit him that well. And there's the other mouse one, which is very dark. But I'm going to keep him on this one, because this one fits him better. I guess first we can work on the hairstyle. I'm going to go with custom. I now need to get the hair color, which is this color, if I can find the app. So it's like a blonde. So if we go into edit hairstyle, we can still change the coloring as we go. So you get this weird net over their head, which you can manipulate. You can make it look like their head's concaved. But we're on the freehand group, so if I just go into brush mode and drag, I'm dragging really slowly. So then that happens. That's Alt again. Why is it Alt? Why is it not my right click? Unless I put this as right click on the mouse. On the mouse, on the... Okay. So now this is right click. That's easier. So that's space. So my character has a quiff, which is quite difficult to do. With this, you can just do it and then select it, and then move. It can do a width ratio, thickness ratio, twist. You can get to twist a little bit, smooth it out, change the thickness of the ends. I'm gonna just move it to about here. There isn't as a control point. I can then control where the hair goes, but it can only stay on the mesh, which is I find really annoying. So like if I wanted, no, it can't come off the mesh. It's just like I can't have it like that. So I'm just gonna make it look roughly like how, oh, it's gone. Never mind. So I'm gonna just make it look as best as I can. If I go too fast, it doesn't actually like it, and so it will like stop. It'll stop me from doing things. And so the next one goes over. This just looks like I'm giving myself like a bob, which I think is quite funny. But this is only for the front of the hair, so it can only really go up to the middle bit. So I'm just going to try just get it to look alright. I'm going to try and get it to go behind the ear. Now that it can. I can also do one to go in front of the ear. And then maybe, oh, that's going to mess with the other hair, but that's fine. I can also just draw it with my mouse, but then that doesn't look as good. In my opinion, at least. If I move this one, I can retouch it. I don't know what the retouch brush does. I'm just going to control that into there. I'm going to move this one down a bit so it's not as bob-ish, bob-like. Just retouch. Oh, that one doesn't want to move. There we go. So if I like angle it so that the tip of it is facing that way, that's probably better looking. And then that can then come up. I mean, it will look quite bob-ish, but I don't really mind how it looks at the moment, because I can always edit it. And if I don't like it on the stream, I can always go back and do it later. Because it does take ages for the VOD to upload. So I don't mind doing it while I'm waiting. Which then would mean in the on the thumbnail it will look different. But that's fine, because I'm most likely going to sort of blank it out, make it look like you just received this character kind of thing from like Genshin. I'm gonna make sure that one goes down a bit more. That's gone into my head. Please get that strand of hair out of my head, please. Oh. I don't know what the retouch brush does. So I'm just gonna stretch that out. There we go. I can also change like the width and the thickness of the hair, so then I can create like, that's not that small. I need to make the width even smaller. So I can make like little hairs that like could come out like that, which make it, I think, easier to do like little strands that could come off my head. I do like it with the size that I've got now, but I think it was like 0.5, yeah, with a thickness of 0.4. So I'll just do this with my mouse just to get that over with. And then I'm gonna go from here, and then I've got to also go across the top here. I will have to retouch this one just to make sure it's in the right spot. And so I think that'll work for the front of my head. So we can then overwrite this, and then we can work on the back. We can also change the highlight color. I'm going to make the highlight color the same color but make it a little bit lighter, because whatever you do, it will just change the color of the highlight. So I go for like a green, I'll go for like the green of this, but then sort of lighten it so it's not fully. I'm starting to doubt this hair, to be honest. Because I can use presets, but they don't always look that good to me, so I'm going to keep it as a preset that I've done. And I'm going to use a preset on the back, I think. I mean, I didn't have to go that far with the front. Okay, so I'm just gonna tweak the front with this on here. So if I just click on this and hit Control so I know which hair I'm working with, I can then just delete hairs that are like overlapping. That's hair 1, I think. It's hair 4 is overlapping a little bit, so I'll just like pull it down. And so it's like, it's not fully accurate to the drawing. But I can use that splash art maybe that I've got, and then just use that as like thumbnail as well. Because for right now this looks like I have a bob, which is fine for now. I'm gonna make the base hair the same color so that if it does slip through, which it will, then it will match. And so I think that's looking good so far. I can also add like a cowlick, which I think when I first designed it, I did actually have a cowlick. If I ever made a bug character, made Ladybug, I could just do that. I think having a cowlick on it would look kind of nice, but I don't know which one I want. Like that could work. Give him one like that, makes him look like he's got a hook on his head. Either way, we don't have to have one. I could add like cat ears, or like whatever that is. Or like, in one of my recent ones, I've given, it was like eyes on his head, like Sailor Moon's like space buns. And I think that sort of fleshed out the head a bit more and made it less flat. But this doesn't have that unless it's that. And it's like, I guess that could work. Looking at it on my second screen, that looks like it could work. I might keep it. Yeah, I'll keep it. Right, so we can also sort out the body. So it shows what the model's height is. I'm going to readjust. So it's like I can change the height to match my actual height, which if I just... There we go. That is roughly my height. So that kind of fits. This is more like shading, I think. Unless... Because I'm going to edit the actual clothing. So I'm going to give myself like a tank top. So that when I take off the clothes, they won't look so terrible. And so I need to take off the shoes as well. No shoes for you. So he'll just have to be stood like this for a while, which is fine. So I can. So this is the multi-mouse suit that I made earlier. It is based on one on my iPad. This was just done relatively quickly. It is, I guess, one of my favorite ones. But I've also, in the tops section, because I did it wrong, got a froggy one from another one I did. This is based on my current design. And I think it's just too vibrant compared to the actual design. Like, I like the sides and stuff, but I'm gonna make it a new one. So we go to the presets, we'll take it off. Takes a second to load it. We're gonna go back into dresses, because it technically is a dress. We're going to create new, and now I can't see any of these unless I look at the screen on the left. Leather suit. And then once it creates it, it puts me in this little jumpsuit, which I can then, if I zoom in enough, manipulate it. I haven't given my character an Adam's apple because I forgot to, so I'm going to go all the way back to body and just sort of protrude it a little bit. If I just do that, it will clip through. My Adam's apple isn't that prominent, so I'm just going to keep it like that. It's made me shorter. Why has it made me shorter? 0.135. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how to get myself to my actual height, which oh god, I'm not that tall. Jeez. That's roughly about it. Okay, so painting on the leather suit, it does cover the hands. It goes up to about here on the neck, and it will cover the feet. So the feet, it doesn't matter if there's anything there, it will cover it. So if I go back to outfit, and I'm going to rename this to the actual name that I have on the splash art, which is King Frog, named after another card game that I made. very meta when it comes to me. And so we go into edit texture. Again, it'll take ages, and this is the lovely UV for this lovely piece of art. I say with 100% sarcasm in my voice, because it is an abomination. I absolutely hate this. So I guess I can show. I need to color it green. Can I have my green, please? I don't think that's the right green. I'm gonna have to just zoom right in, get the green from there. Oh, it was the right green. And then I'm just gonna put the brush width up to maximum, turn on the mirror, and just not do it like that because my computer hates it. Do it with my mouse instead because it's easier. And you can see how awful the UV is. But it also means I can then just start carving it. I do need to move. I'll have to edit it. I'll have to edit it now, won't I? How do I edit this now? I don't think I can on here. So if I just come out of it and just overwrite it, I'm going to edit where it shows the Adam's apple, but I'm also going to make it a little bit tighter to the body. So like, show the Adam's apple, make it, like that, neck width, make it just so as it clips a little bit. I've got to, if I shrink it, it doesn't always look right. So I'm just going to unshrink it a tiny bit. I can expand it, but it looks really weird. Maybe I don't shrink it, I just tighten areas that need it. So I can do shoulder puff, I can make myself look like Pennybug. And it's the same for other things. I can like puff up the sleeves, which look really weird, especially when it's just all green. I can do it on the thighs, do it on the knees as well. I can flatten the neck, which just looks really stupid. Collarbone, I don't know if the collarbone is like that. Okay, so it's like that, that's fine. Flatten upper chest. That just gives me boobs. I can... Oh, okay. That looks weird. Flatten the navel doesn't really do anything. Flattening the torso works. Flattening the butt kind of works. It just makes it feel like it's an actual like tight suit. Flatten the arms and flatten the legs. I can add a heel, but it just clips through my feet. I can round it so it gives me flatter feet, which kind of works, but I like it as it is. I can taper the feet to make it give like more elf-like. Can raise them, I can stretch them out. But I'm going to keep it like this for now. So if we go back into edit texture, it should just fit me perfectly. And so for the first bit, we're gonna just completely fill it with grey to form the bodysuit. And now I've got to figure out where on the neck I work, because I need to also figure out how far up the neck I go. So if I'm looking at my drawing, that's not the right picture. Which one was I looking at? That one. So if I look at the picture, it goes like slightly up my neck. So it goes up to about here. So it's actually quite flat, the cut across. So, oh, I don't have the mirror on. So when it comes to like this suit and stuff, I love having mirror. So when I'm cutting across, it actually feels like I'm doing something and not just doing it on one side. And so it cuts across to about there. And so anything above this, I can then just erase. This is annoying because it's the pen. Okay. I don't think my mouse is calibrated either. Just going to quickly calibrate my pen while I think about this. It seems to be alright. Okay. I'll just have to go higher up when I'm doing the cutting. There we go. So now I can get rid of this on my neck. Actually, I'm going to go a bit higher than it. So that I'm going to... Oh, that's the trial and error that I love to speak about. So I'm going to go from about here, taper it off at the back. Make sure it connects in the middle, and if I go all the way up here, I can just go to a smaller brush and just sort of pull that in a bit more. There we go. Then I've got to go back to my larger brush. Oh, now we're higher up on the... I made the brush too big, which is great. Why is it doing this to me now? Right. So we're just... Okay, it's definitely doing something. So now we can just erase this grey bit. I get a bigger brush for the bigger sections. But when we're going closer in down here, I'm just going to tidy this up. And then just... So if I turn the base color a bit darker, I think I'm just going to keep it at white for now. I wish the base color thing worked in here, but it doesn't. And if the UV was a darker color, that would also work. So we're just gonna tidy up just the lost bits, the last remnants. There's some under my ear, which I wouldn't have expected anything to be there, but there is. So yeah, the neckline is split across two separate areas. And so, of course, I'll miss bits on other sides and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna lag my computer out. Okay, so just make sure I've not missed anywhere. Just gonna tidy that up. And so now we've got a neckline, even though the neckline that this suit has apparently stops here. So it like comes in and then goes across like that. And because the model is such a weird, I think for me it's a weird resolution, it doesn't always pick up where you want it to go. So it does sort of like Animal Crossing, where you have to like guess the pixel. That's not going to color in, so I've got to do it on the UV. Wherever it is on the UV, there. So we're going to have to go back in a minute and color where the darker grey is, and also where the green is. But for the arms, the dark grey ends around the upper bicep area. And then, because it's roughly where Multi-Mouse's is as well. And on one of my older designs, I went right up the leg, like Multi-Mouse, but for this one, I've just gone up the shin. So I'm going to keep that one pretty consistent as well. So the dark shade we've got, I can't even remember what the color was. Okay, it was this dark grey. So I'm going to rename this to base grey. This one's going to be accent grey. And we're also going to add, just on top, the green, which will also be an accent. So have base grey, and accent green. So whatever I've just done for the neckline, I'm going to have to redo with this grey. So we've got to find the midpoint again on his neckline, which, if I can find my cursor, it's about here. Nope, it's a bit further down. Nope, it is about here. So we're on size 2 pen, which doesn't always look the nicest. So we're just gonna curve that around. How does that look from a distance? I think that looks alright. We're now gonna have to try and copy it over to the back, but making sure that it actually lines up properly. It's about there. So I'm just going to realign myself so that it's over the top, so that I can line up the pen properly. Because then once I've got it on the back, I can then just run it through until it connects up to itself. So now I know where it is on the actual UV, I can just follow the contour until it roughly lines up. I'm just going to have to go back through here and follow the contour line just a tad bit more. So if I follow, not, okay, I'm going to go a bit further in. There we go. If I follow that contour, then I've got it. Okay. So if I just do that. Okay. So because that's now blocked off, if we block off the upper area, I can then use the fill bucket tool. I keep hitting my microphone because it's right in front of my face. So if we block out here, and then just follow it around I gotta say as well, making designs in Animal Crossing is like a walk in the park compared to this. I do love my Animal Crossing designs, but if it was like this, I would probably not. I would never finish them. So we'll just tidy this up and make sure that they actually line up, which they don't. Just want to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And I can just it's better than nothing. And so then I can then fill bucket that area and it will do it on both panels, which I do quite like. This is looking very, very different from the other side. So if I'm just looking at my iPad screen every so often. So just so I know where I'm starting, just gonna follow a line up so that I know where I start on the contour, which would be about here. So if I go from this middle contour and I go to about here, that should make a good enough curve for the arm. And then I just got to replicate it on the other side. I've also got to stop using the middle mouse button. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and then 3 across. So it comes to about here. I love that maths is an inclusion with this. So now we've got to then curve it around under the bottom so that it can connect up well enough. So I want it to hit, okay, I've just made it hit there. So I want it on the second one down. I need to zoom in on this because it's not going to work otherwise. Second one down and then curve it. Roughly did it. And so if I go around to the other side, it is all there. So now I've got to do it on the other side, which for me might be a bit easier. It is not. And I thought I missed UV painting. Okay, so there we go. I think if we fill this in, it will just fill the arm in. Yep. Okay, so it won't fill the other side either, so you have to do it on both sides. And so here's how my UV map looks right now. I think we are getting there, which is a start. An hour and 40 minutes in, and we're almost there. We've now got to do this again, but on the legs. And the legs have the most active UV spaces. We've got the two big rectangles on the bottom, the sort of alien-looking heads in the middle, which is part of the foot, and then the two sort of foot-shaped things at the bottom. The only bit I have to worry about is just the leg for now, because the feet are all the same colour. So I'm just going to make sure that I know where on the UV I'm starting, which is just under the knee, which luckily looks like that. So I'm just going to do from here and then go up or down, depending on where I want to start. So I want to get the UV at the bottom to there. So that will create like a nice curve. But I don't want it that sharp, I actually want it quite flat. Like that. And then... oh, come on. Don't crash on me now. Okay, we're back. So I've got to try and do this on the other side. But not as dramatic, I guess. I went a bit too far on that one. So I've got to go 3 down and not 4. Because it's on the leg, it doesn't... I guess it doesn't really matter, but it does. You have to then tie it around the back, which is usually why I like working on the models themselves. But with my current pen issues, I don't really want to make it do that. So I'm just going to do it on the UV. Ooh. So we're going to make it follow this contour. Just to sort of signify it's like a boot of some form. And because it's on this second one, I'm just going to edit this one to sort of get it to curve up as well. Actually, I'm going to go to this bit of the contour. And then just sort of curve it. Oh, that's a bit too high. There we go. And so now we've got a rough boot shape on the leg. I can then just go onto the actual leg itself, and then I can just fill it in. And so it will show then on here. Okay, it's going to do the whole thing, which is great. It didn't... well, I did do that earlier, actually. I was hoping that it was fixed. It was not. So, I'm just going to combine that with the... these are the fingers. So I'm just Oh. Did I just undo that bit over there? I didn't. So we're just going to connect the fingers so that when we fill it, it'll just fill in this area. Oh. And I'll do the same on the other side. This is just me being very sort of quick. So if I just fill this area in, I've got to try and get around this part of the leg. But for me, I can just do that. Connect this up. I've got to go down and around there, up and over. If there is any other professional artists watching this in the future, I am sorry. Because I am speedrunning this bit. Because it is annoying me. Right. Then we just fill that in, and then we have our boot. On the original, there was green on the underside of the feet, but considering I don't know how far up the VTuber model I want to use, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to show the feet as much. So this is pretty much the base, like the base greys and the accent grey done. So now we're going to go to the accent green, which is mainly just lines. So I can keep it on like a brush mode and just follow the lines that I've already made. Like it's not going to be very accurate, but it'll look alright. So like the lines themselves are meant to be thicker, so I will like, I'll just sort of add to it. Like that maybe. Because of the collarbone, it does look really weird. But that'll be fine. Now we just got to connect it up on there. It's hopefully not too bad to connect. Gotta go up here. Okay. Then we just need to connect that up at the back, and then I can fill it in. So, like, if by the end of this VTuber making I don't feel up to making another one, I can always do another stream where I just make the other models sort of in the series. Why is it doing that? I think I know why. Just sort of contain the colour in there. Will it do it now? Okay, yeah, it'll do it. Why is it doing that though? Like it's leaving the one area I wanted it to fill. Okay. So just gonna fill that in. So then I can just tweak it. And edit that. Sort of flatten it out. And then see how that connects up to the back. It's not perfect, but it works. Oh, that's a bit too far. Make the brush a bit smaller. There we go. That'll do. From a distance, it looks like it anyway. So next up is the arms. What's this then? Ah, okay, that's the back of the hand. I thought so. So we're going to go up to brush size of 8. And so we're just going to follow it as best as I can anyway. So follow it. And then just keep going. Okay, that was the best line I've done so far. And now I've got to do it again. Yay. And then connect. Oh. Okay, that one wasn't too bad. It definitely does feel a little bit easier when I've got the guidelines to follow. If I didn't have the guidelines, I would just be probably freaking out. Okay, so we've got that one. And then I've got to scroll on this. And then just fill that. It doesn't look perfect, but it does look better. And now because the legs, these look really weird. It's easier to do them when I'm drawing them, but when I'm doing a texture sheet, I am not convinced that my skills are this good. Okay. Follow the contour. Follow the contour. I mean, I call it a contour, I know it's a UV shell, but oh. There we go. So now if I just follow the contour again, I'll have roughly... Oh, I've moved a bit too far there. There we go. Fill that. That's obviously not going to work, is it? Because it's an open gap. Right, fill that. And I see that I have made a mistake on the sides. Because it does not line up. That's an easy fix though. I just need to, on this bit, just go further down. I think it's about here. Yeah, it's about there. And instead of just doing that, I go up here, and I just bring... There we go. So that's technically the suit. It's pretty basic, but I think it looks good. I am going to do a couple more layers just for the Miraculous itself, because the Miraculous is just a pendant, but I can just paint it on. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker. So it's going to go roughly in the center. Because I've got symmetry on, it should play nice. That's the eraser tool. Maybe a bit rounder at the bottom. Right, it's still looking very similar though. Maybe if I darken it to about that, that works. Okay. And so then this is going to be named Miraculous. And then, of course, we add the actual logo on the Miraculous, which is a frog that's split up into segments. Okay, so I'm going to make the brush a little bit smaller. Let's change the keybinds again. So the frog has had several iterations since I first drew it back in 2021. This looks like a bear. So this one has, I'm just going to go under the eyes. So that's 2 segments. That is also a segment, and then it splits down the middle, but I'm going to split it. I'm going to iterate on the design and just split it like, not like that, like that. But I'm also going to blur it slightly because it needs to be. Okay, I'm going to turn the brush opacity down so that unless I turn the, is it down that it does it? I don't know how the pen pressure sensitivity works for this. As long as it looks like it's glowing, it should be alright. Because I can put the opacity down so it looks like it's under like a piece of glass. And there we go. In about 2 hours, we've created a new VTuber model. It's not great, it's not perfect, but it's my first fully custom VTuber model that I could use. And I'm going to overwrite this. Thank you. I'm going to try and get it on the stream, see how it looks. If this loads. It's not responding, which is great. There we go. So, I mean, this is how I do like my thumbnail stuff. It has a photo mode. So I can turn off my iPad now. I'll move it out of the way. So we've got, and it shows, oh, it's a bit laggy on stream, but it's great. So it shows you like how the eyes work. The blinking looks really strange, so I'm just not going to make him blink. But he can look at he looks at the camera very easily. Also, according to this, my OBS is only using 8% of my CPU, so this must be taking up the majority of it. But I can get him to do like different poses and different things. And this is how I got like my thumbnails on YouTube. I do it on here. A lot of it comes from the posing tab, where I can then put him in default positions, like this one, which is, if you're in the Discord server, you'll see that there is an emote where I am. This is my old VTuber model, but I'm going to update it to this one, maybe. And then I can just like change it to be like, even if it's victory hand, it's more of a peace sign. And so maybe after stream, when my laptop's had a bit of a chance to cool itself, because this takes a lot of GPU power, I'll get some renders done. But I want to make sure this works on stream, so I'm going to... There's an export button up here, and export is a VRM. I'm also going to then figure out where other is. It's down here, my VSeeFace, and then hopefully once that's all loaded and stuff, then it should look alright. Okay, so it's now gonna depose me, which looks really funny, and it tells you I am made of 42,345 polygons. I feel like that could be a thumbnail. I'm just T-posing. So I can reduce polygons by like smoothing out the hair, but it's not going to do anything right now. Because it's really laggy. Maybe I don't want to change anything, because that is editing the amount of polygons as it's doing it, which is a lot. I'm made of 12 materials as well, so I'm just going to export that. I'm just going to call it the actual name. I'm just going to put my username, and then export. It will probably not show things, but just in case, I'm going to change to this screen for now while it's loading. So you have just my face. Oh, okay, and the VTuber is loading up. But it is this one. If it loads. It's this one so far. It's funny though, because I have to like align. How do I rotate him again? This is weird. I don't know what I'm doing. Why is he facing that way? This is interesting. But if I can go back to my avatar selection, if I click on this, it won't show it on the stream, luckily. And it's asking me where to save it. So I'm just going to export him. And he shows up on here. There he is. There he is. This doesn't have hand tracking, which Unless it does. I don't know if it does. Do you have hand tracking? Okay. Just... So this is the first VTuber. I also just don't know how to change the actual camera. Okay, there we go. So I can do props and stuff, but so I don't know how that works. Where's the... I can do fake gaze, which means it has to reload my camera, but I think it looks alright. It works. And so, yeah, while I look at my screen, you can just see that I'm not actually looking at my camera, but I'll get some renders done for this. Because I think the hair actually looks quite nice too, for my first time doing custom hair. I also love the little buns. They look kind of funny. But yeah, I actually had fun doing this. And I really wish that this actually had the button back to let me do things. Oh, there's effects. Oh my god. Oh no. What is this? I can change the color of it. I look like I'm on a in like an Black Eyed Peas album. Okay, I'm just having so much fun with this thing. But I'm gonna end up the stream. It seems like his mouth is stuck. Yeah. Okay, there we go. It's having a bit of trouble keeping up with me. But yes, I shall end up the stream now. I guess I could also add my VTuber in the back as well. Looks really weird. But yeah, hopefully next stream I might be able to keep the VTuber. I'm also going to figure out how to raid. I want to raid. I want to raid, see how that works. How do I do that? This is my first time doing things like this. I can do it on the Twitch website, can't I? If it loads. I'm gonna close some things on my computer because then it will actually maybe run faster. I don't even know if there's a command for raiding as well. Let's see. Thank you for coming. Right. Stream manager. This is really slow. Okay, so I'm just gonna go. I might just go straight back to my VTuber while this is here, because this is not working. There we go. Yeah, come on. Come on. There we go. Let's see. Raid channel. Okay. The raid is now set up and going. Let's go. Yeah. I don't know how this works. But bye. Is it doing it? I don't know what's going on. Okay, I have the stream chat, so I'm assuming it's worked. Maybe it's worked, I don't know. Well, either way, I'm gonna go now. So thank you all for coming. Goodbye.